David Griffin, that was one very long race for you guys.
Oh, incredibly long. Crosbie, we had to cancel our lunch today, which put it off till tomorrow. So we all had plans of arriving sometime. All the routings had us arriving sometime between late afternoon and early this morning, but it wasn't to happen.
I think there's going to be a lot of restaurant rebookings going on at the moment.
Absolutely. Anyway, we're always happy to be in Hobart. It's the most difficult race for the middle fleet boats because we couldn't go out and follow the 100-footers and the 80 and 60, the 70-footers, and we didn't want to be inside. As it turned out, the best thing would have been straight down the run line.
You weren't to know, I suppose, really?
No, well, despite all the best weather information you get and the best people in the world that are giving you advice, you're still at the, what's going on in the world with weather. And that's the.
So what was the sort of most dramatic piece? Did you get caught in any of those microbursts?
We had a couple of bits over 30 knots, but not sustained. But the trouble is that they happened so quickly that you couldn't get a sail down. You had no time to plan. Just particularly in the middle of the night, and they came with storms, wind, and so we tore a couple of headsails. Not that destroyed them, but you can't just. So instead of going from the 1 to the 3 to the 5, we went from the 1 to the 5 sort of thing. So.
Pretty hard yards. What else were highlights of the race? Did you get some really good power running at all?
No, hardly anything at all. I mean, it was, you could say, a pretty forgettable race. It's no, there were no real highlights for us, except coming around Tasman Island. In the morning's always beautiful with the sun on it, so everyone loves to see that.
And URM a bit ahead of you this time?
Oh, well, they've sailed superbly.
Sorry, I beg your pardon, no limit a bit ahead of you.
Yeah, well, they've sailed very well too. We were ahead of them and just behind them, and they got a wonderful break, and we didn't see them again after.
That seems to be the story, lots of splits in the fleet.
Yes, like you could be very close to each other, someone gets it and the next lot don't, so bang. You're
And we've had some extremely close finishes here. We had the two 100-footers literally 50 seconds apart, and then URM and and the guy and the others at sort of 20 seconds apart. So it's been pretty close this end.
Well, I really feel for our friends on Andu, who are my lifelong friends, because I was luckily on Condor Bermuda when we won by 7 seconds in, was it 82 or 3? And we were in the same position, miles ahead coming into the river to see, it was Apollo, I think, come storming down. And but we just got the last gasp of air and got over the line, whereas poor old Woody and Herman and Jamie and the whole team, Ian and all our friends on Andu didn't make it, although Law Connect sailed superbly to get through there. So.
Well done for another one under the belt. How many is this for you, David?
Oh, it's only 11.
Only 11?
Well, I did my first in 76, right, and then children and work came along, and so I just harbour sailed for many years.
Very good. Well, trust you'll have even more to enjoy out of a late lunch tomorrow.
Okay, we hope so. Thanks very much. Thanks for all this.
Thank you. David? Is Andy around? Thank you very much indeed. It was great having a bit of a chat with you before the race as well. Just bear with us for 1 second, we'll just get started up. Andy Green, navigator aboard Whisper. We were talking to you before the race and you were saying this was pretty hard yards. You must have added quite a bit to your portfolio of experience in one race.
Yeah, exactly. The dossier for this event is a couple of pages long. More longer now, so tricky race, very tricky.
Tell us a little bit, actually, obviously you had some sort of plan around that to start with. How much of that actually materialised, or did you just have to do a lot of adaptation?
A little bit of adaptation. There was sort of three scenarios that were playing out. We tried to go with plan A, which was to sail offshore into that nor'easterly and try and hang on to it. In the end, we got a little bit too close to a line of thunderstorms that developed down the New South Wales coast, and we got cloud action going on, got swallowed up by a few clouds, while the other mini-maxis, like a live URM, all just speared away from us. So
were they further down or just further out?
Further down and further out, both. Yeah. So they really were able to hang on to the nor'easters. I think Caro were a lot further out than us as well, and they weren't quite quick enough to hang on to the nor'easterlies as well. So you'll see in the results, like anything between 52 and 62 feet, they've got a bit spat out the back, basically.
Tell me about it. We had 6 boats in here this morning, 4 days in.
Yeah, exactly. There's a big gap between that first set of boats and this set of boats just starting to come in now, the 52s and the rest, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the sort of mechanics and choreography of who you're talking to on the racetrack, who in the team, tacticians, drivers and so on. How does that work?
Yeah, so the main person I talk to the most is Michael Coxon, just here. He's our tactician, so we bounce a lot of ideas between each other. I try and manage the weather models, the data and all of that, and he brings into his into the discussion his wealth of experience about this racetrack. So we merged the two together. Fortunately, it didn't quite pan out this time around.
Somehow that happens. And I see pretty much everybody has Starlink. Does that make a big difference to you?
Absolutely. This is my first race with the system, and it's a shame we didn't have it on board for last year with another boat I was sailing on, because I would have loved it. But it's it's pretty big game changer for me anyway.
Just tell us what the difference is. Is it the amount of data and the speed you can get it?
Yeah, so exactly. You can just have no fear of downloading as many weather models as you want. We can access high resolution satellite imagery to try and pick out these sort of cells that develop. Radar imagery. We can just collect so much more data now, than previous. So,
it's really good to see young navigators coming through. We've got a lot of veterans here, and we were talking to Alice Parker yesterday. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how you got into navigation in the first place through sailing.
I started in far 40s actually. Just one day about 12 years ago now. Just got handed a deck screen and said, "Here, have a crack at this," and then just sort of compounded from there. Took a keen interest in it, and meshes with my background quite well with naval architecture and meteorology, so it was a natural fit. And I've been sailing, since quite young, and it all was a natural fit for stepping into that role. Yeah, and I've enjoyed it a lot.
And it's interesting because essentially you've got to be curious and presumably reasonably good with numbers and so on. But Alice is I think she's a physio, so it really is about just getting your head into it and just getting the experience. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. The more you do it, the more you work with the software, weather modelling, and then just getting out there and understanding how it differs in reality. Just miles under the belt. You'll just get a pretty good handle on all that. Yeah.
Well done, and look forward to seeing you on the racetrack again soon.
Thanks.
Thanks, Andy. Cheers.
Cheers.